It first of all started with our fans.
We think we ran the most inclusive process in NFL history. The amount of fan feedback that was poured into this, between surveys, 30, 40, 50 focus groups, and the amount of time and the amount of fans that have had an opportunity to participate in this process is an NFL first.
How can you not get excited? They'll be the first roster to wear this uniform. You're representing the Texans in a uniform that has never been done before. As an organization, we've come into a different era.
The Texans are going to the playoffs, back to the postseason. D'Amico does it in year one.
We have built something that is exciting, and I think this is a part of that and represents that.
That was wow. Yeah, that was fun. It's a large campus, and so we were walking through the campus and saw different things with their different athletes, and LeBron James has his own building.
Well, Nike's been a great partner. They've got a lot of design expertise. They have a lot of expertise when it comes down to font and to material and all those different kinds of things.
One of the reps from Nike that was put on our uniform is from Houston. So he had a vested interest in making sure that we got it right. And I mean, it all worked out if you start looking at the pieces of what happened. Then when we walked in the room and they had them all clothed, I started getting goosebumps. I mean, I went, oh my gosh, we're about to see them live. They're here.
Wow, they did it. Can't believe it. And it's really there in front of us. And they took us one by one.
See all the hard work and kind of the nuances that we've been working on. It was a really, really special moment, and to share that with the McNairs and to see all their efforts pay off and what they've been challenging us to do.
To see it for the first time in person, I probably had a moment of just reflection, because I had seen sketches, I had seen designs, I had seen renderings. Like, wow, we are here.
One of them, I did get a little lightheaded.
She did.
And I had to kind of back up and get my bearings because I'm so excited.
Ooh, I have goosebumps.
This is everything that we believe the fans have asked for years.
Yeah, this is it. This is it.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we worked a lot with Nike on the uniforms and the different inputs they had, as well as the league, and everyone worked really well together, and I think we came out to a really good uniform and a good process.
To see that we've put everything in and then it just comes to fruition right there in front of you, you get excited because you know the fans are going to get excited.
All right, here we go, and action, walking forward.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
No, that red, crazy.
When it comes to the 4 uniforms, our goal was to answer on the fan feedback.
It needs to be something the players like to wear and something the fans like to watch.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of little details that I think over time fans will have a chance to discover, whether it's how H-Town and H-Town Blue is always on the back of the players kind of propelling us forward, or maybe a texture of a number, car culture through our helmet paint and other types of things. There's all little nuances that are stories inside of these uniforms that, you know, we'll do our best to tell up front, but I think over time our fans will really come to appreciate.
So first things first, our new home uniform, that core blue. What you'll see in that uniform is a timeless classic look. Our core look of today, just updated.
Darkening up our blue creates this really intimidating, mean look on the field. But we did a whole color study. We said what navy's the right one. Got print, got some screen printing, looked at Pantone swatches, all the nerdy design things that we did to pick the colors that we ended up going with.
The original blue was darker, and over time, we've challenged with different materials and otherwise, and so we really want to harken back to that, the beginning of the franchise and really reinvigorate deep steel blue.
So all we did is we went back in time. So we're the first team in the NFL that has this new blue. No other team in the league has this new blue. And what you'll see is actually in the body of the uniform, a simplified look. We took the stripes off the shoulders and we introduced a new intricate collar design as well. That collar design is inspired by the flag of Texas. If you look at what's happening with the red and white stripe, right?
Like powder blue too on the H-town.
Yes, a little nod, right? A little nod to our city there behind the collar. When it comes to the away uniform, your standard whites, NFL rule, every team has to have a white uniform. That's where you see the Texans start to evolve just a little bit.
Well, the Liberty white jersey is, I think, something that, is traditional. I love the fact that this is the traditional uniform that we'll wear most often that incorporates the horn, which was something we heard from a lot of our fans. And it just looks really clean.
Over the years, there's been fan mock-ups on the internet of what they think the jersey should look like, and the horn has been in those mock-ups a lot. And, it's something that we couldn't ignore. Now, we did it a different way than a lot of people have seen over time and on social media and stuff like that. But I think we did it in a really unique way that's really going to stand out across the league, and maybe other fans across the nation will see it and really be excited about it as well, not just fans in Houston.
So when you look at that shoulder stripe, it's a brand new horizontal shoulder stripe. When you look at it from the front, that stripe all of a sudden tapers into a bullhorn. Your away uniform, same theory here, but the stripe, as you guys notice, is the big deal. From the back and the side, it looks like a normal shoulder stripe. You check that from the front, especially when the pads are on, that's that bullhorn, right? Little subtle hit without going too crazy about it. For the guys that talked about something like this when we did those focus groups, they even talked about when they bend a little bit in stance, how the horn's gonna pop up a little bit more.
I think both with the blue pants, if we were ever to wear it, with all white, which we tend to do, and I know the players love it, I think it's gonna look spectacular, and just really excited to see our fans, cheer us on in that uniform.
But I will say the one I had to get my bearings on, the full uniform from helmet to toe, boy, that battle red looks so good. It looks so good. I'm so excited for it.
The battle red uniform, it was our first alternate uniform, and it was our first alternate helmet with the battle red helmet that we introduced a couple years ago. So this uniform, I see it as a strong evolution forward from both that jersey and that helmet.
Call it the bolder side of design. And that was really to answer the fans who said, Texans, it's time to get bolder. It's time to get loud. It's time to get crazy. So that's when we took that away uniform that's inspired by the bull and said, how do you make that really represent battle red? And when we talk about battle red, that's a bold color and a bold name. So we had to amp that thing up all the way. But with a really bold, bright, rich red color, that's really gonna make a statement.
Yeah, the red looks pretty awesome. You
Oh,
see
and
red
the
and
face
traveling.
mask. I mean, there's so many details in it that I can't talk about it without getting a little excited.
Now, extra surprise on that is the brand new battle red helmet. We've got the candy paint flake inspired red on red look on that helmet. It's like the battle red helmet we have now, but pushed even more. Brand new logo design on this helmet. Right?
Nice.
That is bullhorn inspired by our logo. Really, just think about it. If you put a giant Texans logo right here, split it in the middle, that's where you end up on the sides. It's got that stripe in it, so it just matches your uniform.
And I think having the horns on the helmet, the candy paint, the chrome face mask, which might be my most favorite, I know our players are going to be really excited to make it happen on Sundays when they're wearing that uniform.
So you can see that our identity is still in that, and it's based upon our core brand, but all of a sudden, you've got a brand new, badass, tough look that the guys are gonna rock on that helmet. Then our last one, our last alternate uniform, that H-Town Color Rush one. That's the uniform that delivers really on two things. Number one, answering that fan demand. Get H-Town Blue in that uniform. That is our color for our city. Number two, when you start looking at a really bright color like H-Town Blue, with our new dark blue, you all of a sudden end up with a really tough look on that uniform.
Well, it'll be terrific, and it's something, you know, we had to work hard on. And it's not a full uniform, it's a sort of an accent color, but it looks really good. And we listen to our fans, and that's what our fans wanted to see.
It's in the DNA of Houston, so to be able to include that in is special.
And you look at that helmet, you've got a metal flake look inspired by candy paint, and you went with red flake on top of blue. When the sun and the stadium lights hit that, whoo, it's gonna pop. You're gonna see that red burst off of it.
Look into the camera right now. You're showing the teeth, you're showing the grill, and look down for me. And smile, kind of look up.
H-Town Blue is now part of our brand, and it's part of our uniforms. Why we added it is pretty simple. The fans told us to add it. The team sat down with Commissioner Goodell and really shared with them the fan feedback over the past 5 months. And when we got to color, you could imagine there was a lot of curiosity of why H-Town Blue?
Because it goes back in our history, even though the city flag has it. So it's been in our city history for a long time. So our fans really wanted that as part of our color in the uniform.
So we walked through what is a 100+ year history of that color. Whether it's the tiles that we see in a lot of our old neighborhoods that are white and H-Town Blue, whether it's the history of the color that's exceeded far beyond that from a culture perspective.
Cal and I are Houstonians, born and raised here. H-Town pride is a part of who we are. Any way we can represent and share that pride is special for us.
This is our print area. This is where we print close to 80% of what goes out on field. Everything we do here is spot color. We don't do any kind of 4-color process. So everything is done one color at a time, layered, to make the decals look as nice as we can. It's an age-old process, not a whole lot has changed. Screen print has been around for hundreds and hundreds of years against the dark helmet. It's going to look really nice.
Whew, the H was a labor of love for the team. This was our project based upon all that fan feedback of how can you rep the H. We designed over 300 H's, and we tested every single one of them as part of that process.
It really started a couple of years ago in training camp where we tested a new H. We were unsure how it was going to be received, and the feedback was extremely positive and immediate that this was something that we needed to incorporate as we were moving forward.
We really looked at design from a two-extreme perspective. On one extreme, simple, classic, basic. Then there's the other side of it. That fans said, well, if we're going to rep an H, shouldn't that H be inspired by the culture of H-Town? And there was one font that kept coming up, black letter.
So the H logo itself comes from a type style called black letter. A lot of people know it as like Old English, but the term is black letter, right? Shows up a lot in a lot of different areas over time, over history, medieval times, on formal lettering. For us, it exists in Houston culture quite prevalently.
For lovers of H-Town hip hop, they went back into album covers for the past 20 years, and they showed us that this black letter font was on the majority of album covers from Houston artists over all these years. Even if you look at the college and university space, Rice University's logo is black letter. So there's a lot of familiarity with that style of design from a higher education perspective. Talk about two extremes of inspiration that fans brought up to us. Maybe that's why, from a core design, a lot of very different, diverse fans all gravitated towards it.
And then there's this added color to it, right, which is H-Town Blue. This color itself has a lot of ownership in the city of Houston, so we knew that we had to have it. But we took a step further and added this bevel effect to it that kind of shows up in some architecture and some other elements around the city. So you'll start to see that on the H, as well as like some of the numbers on our uniform, which, you know, it's a cool way to tie the two together. When they buy that hat, when they buy that hoodie, when they buy that jersey in the team store come this season, you know, I would want them to wear it with pride and say, this is my team, this is my city, and hopefully the H does that for people.
The decals will come in out of the production area. They'll be laminated with an adhesive or an overcoat, depending on the type of decal we're doing. Those will then go to our cutting department.
You're trying to find a style that lends itself and fits with the Texans brand. And when you look at the curves that happen in the lettering within black letter, surprisingly enough, a lot of those curves look like horns.
So we knew that we wanted to take the bullhead into consideration, and the horns being very significant in the process of like, how do we take this horn idea and then throw it into the H where it makes sense?
I know I'm really excited about it, both in the way, the design of it, the color of it, as well as incorporating the star. It's the bullseye in our primary logo, and so making sure we have that connection between the traditional and the new.
All right, here we go. Your new look, of course, is the H, right? Many of y'all were part of testing H's. If you were part of the final testing, this is the H you picked.
I think when fans see this logo, you know, I think the number one thing I would want them to take away is like ownership. I hope that they find part of themselves inside of this logo to some degree. You know, Houston is the most diverse city in America, and I think this H could relate to a lot of different people from all walks of life.
We're getting goosebumps. No, we're excited. It'll be fun. The crowd, I hope, is going to really erupt when they see them. But it'll be fun. The players are going to really enjoy coming out in them as well.
It's the first time any team has a secondary logo on their permanent helmet. It's the first time that we will have a uniform that represents H-Town pride.
I go back to the McNairs challenging us to fearlessly evolve over the last couple of years. They've empowered our organization both on and off the field to push ourselves forward and to kind of redefine what the Texans look like as we move into the future.
If you think about everything happening for the club, for the team, we hope that we're kind of bottling all that up and bringing it to the fans and the players in the form of a uniform.
It's been a lot of fun, and I can't really wait to see where we go. I know on the field we're really excited, and I think off the field we're ready to match that energy.
And then from a fan side, we hope that we delivered on their ask. And we hope at the end of the day they look at those 4 uniforms and said, y'all changed, y'all listened, y'all delivered. I can't wait to rock it. I can't wait to get back to game day.